afternoon, students. Today we came to our plumbing class uh, day 7, right? Day 7. So, so last day, you know, we were studying about different overhead tank sizing, underground tank sizing, pump head or pump power calculation, or the pump capacity calculation, and the main water supply pipe, dimensions. All those things we have studied last class. Okay, those who haven't attended last class, you can go to the video that I have already shared, and you can go through that. This is today's topic. I think uh, almost some of the important things we have already covered, like overhead tank sizing, underground tank sizing, pump capacity sizing, how to find the head, okay, in order to find the pump capacity, then main supply pipe sizing. All those things we have seen last day. So today it's a small topic that we'll be dealing with the high-rise building, okay, water supply requirements or the water supply in high-rise building, uh, and we will study about the pump selection or what are the criteria for pump selection and all those things. So initially, just we can see about the pump selection, or we can see what are the different types of pumps. So you might be already knowing all those things, but as the sake of this theory class, just I will give the types of pumps. If Shahil wants to note it down, you can note it down. Are you noting it down? Different types of pumps and the criteria for pump selection. If you want to purchase a pump, what are the criteria that you have to keep in mind? Okay, anyways, you can write, Shahal can write. Okay, uh, take your notebook and just you write it on your notebook. So it should be helpful. So it would be helpful for you, okay, in future also. So is Shahal there? Okay. So are you writing? Are you writing? Or you want to write, or just I want to dictate it? That's enough. You want to write? Okay. So yeah. Okay. So just regarding pump selection, there are different types of pumps. Okay, you can write the heading pump selection, and you can write what are the different types of pumps. Okay, you can write the heading types of pumps. Mostly we have two types of pumps. Okay, like there are more than two types of pump. First one is centrifugal pumps. Okay, usually we will be using centrifugal pumps only. Okay, centrifugal pumps. Okay. Then the second one is a positive displacement pumps. Where we don't want any priming and all. Okay, positive displacement pumps, and we can write the examples of positive displacement pumps. So first one is centrifugal pump. It's a normal pump. Okay. Then the second one is a positive displacement pump. You can write in bracket examples of positive displacement pumps. Uh, the positive displacement pump examples are reciprocating pump, screw pump, gear pump, etc. Reciprocating screw, gear pump, all these pumps comes under positive displacement pumps. Okay, where we don't want any priming. Okay, we just on it, we directly will give the water to the overhead tank. Okay. Second one is positive displacement pump. First one was centrifugal pump. Second is positive. These are the different types of pumps. Okay. Positive displacement pump. Positive displacement pump. Examples are reciprocating pump, screw pump, gear pump, etc. Reciprocating, screw, gear pump, etc. comes under positive displacement pumps. Then the third one, another one type of pump is Yancey operated, or we can call it as airlift pumps by the help of this air. We can call it as buoyancy operator. B-Y-A-N-C-Y. Buoyancy operator. In bracket, you can write airlift pump. Airlift pump. B-Y-A-N-C-Y. Buoyancy operator, or we can call it as airlift pump. B-U-O-Y-A-N-C-Y. 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 Buoyancy operator, airlift pump. In bracket, you can write airlift pump. And the last one is another one type is hydraulic ramps. Hydraulic. By the help of hydraulic fluid, you can just run the pump. Okay. Hydraulic ramps. H-Y-D-R-I-U-L-I-C. Hydraulic ramps. R-I-M-S. Ramps. R-I-M-S. Ramps. Okay. Hydraulic ramps. So this hydraulic ramps is nothing but like by the help of some fluid or hydraulic fluid, we can run the pump or we can run the ramps. Okay. So these are the different types of pipes. Pumps. Okay, types of pumps. One is centrifugal pump. Then next one is positive displacement pump. Then next one is airlift pumps or buoyancy operated pumps. Then hydraulic ramps or hydraulic pump. Okay. These are the different types of pumps. And when you are going to select a pump, okay, last class we have studied about how to find the capacity, and we have solved a problem, right? We have solved a problem. We have seen what is the flow rate as well as what is the head. Okay, so if you are going to the market for buying a pump, there are different criteria that we have to understand as a design engineer or as an engineer. If you are just giving the capacity, that won't be suited for your for your application. So you should have given, or they may ask you the flow rate, how much should be the flow rate, as well as they may ask the head, or how much height you have to pump the water. Okay, right? Because due to the same capacity, you may have different flow rate as well as you may have different head also. It is available with same capacity. So just write the heading. What are the criteria for pump selection? Criteria for pump selection. Criteria for pump selection. So, criteria for pump selection. CRITERIA. Criteria. What all we need to keep it in mind for for pump selection. So there are different types, or there are different criteria for selecting a pump. Okay, so we cannot take any pump for our need. There are different types depending upon some criteria. So you can write what are some points. There are many points. Some of the points that you have to keep it in your mind. Okay, when selection of a pump is first one, nature of liquid. Nature of liquid. Nature of liquid. LIQUID. Nature of liquid. Nature of liquid, which means that it can be a raw water or treated water. It can be pure water, or it can be a raw water or treated water, depending upon the type of liquid or type of water which is flowing through that pump or flowing through that pipe. Okay, depending upon that nature of liquid. Okay, so nature of liquid, after a comma you can write raw water or treated water. Depending upon that, you can select pump. There are pumps for pumping raw water, as well as there are pumps for treated water also. Okay. And second one, depending upon its duty, DUT word. Depending upon its duty. depending upon its duty. Duty means depending upon its application. Application in the sense how it is working, how to work, or how that pump has to work. Okay, we can say like that also. Depending upon the duty. Duty in the sense it can be continuous work, or it can be cyclic or intermittent. Okay, it in different intervals also, we can just run the pump. So duty in the sense you can just write a hyphen and we can write it can be continuous, and it can be intermittent or cyclic. Continuous, intermittent, or cyclic. Continuous, intermittent, or cyclic. Then for third one is projected demand. Projected demand, how much water that you need, or how much should be the flow rate, discharge, depending upon the projected demand. So depending upon how much water or how much water that you need to pump in to a particular tank. Okay, depending upon that, you can say that depending upon the flow rate also, depending upon the flow rate. Okay, the pump selection will be different. So the third one you can write projected demand. Projected demand, DEMAND. Projected demand. Projected demand in the sense like it is not only flow rate, but how much quantity of water that you need, how much quantity. Okay, depending upon the projected demand. Then head and flow rate required. This is very important. Head and flow rate required. Head and flow rate. So when you buy, when you go for purchasing it, they will ask for the head and the flow rate. If you have to say that. Okay, head and flow rate required. Or you have to say that my building height is this much, and I want to fill my overhead tank within this much minute. So they will choose and they will give you an option, okay, for purchasing. So head and flow rate required. Head and flow rate required. Head and flow rate required. The next one is efficiency of the pump. Depending upon the efficiency of the pump. Efficiency of the pump. Then next one, depending upon its a connection combination, whether it's a parallel or series combination. Okay, whether it is parallel or series combination. Depending upon that also, you may get. Then ease of maintenance and operation. Ease of operation and maintenance. The next one is how easily you can operate and maintain. Okay, depending upon that, you have to select. Okay, so all these things you have to keep it in mind. Like not only that, ease of operation and maintenance. How easily you can operate and how easily you can maintain. Okay. So we have studied the nature of liquid. It can be different natures, depending upon different nature of the liquid. You can select a pump, and depending upon its duty, like it can be cyclic, or it can be continuous usage. Then the projected demand, okay, the water demand, depend upon the projected demand. Then the very important thing is the head and the flow rate. The head and the flow rate, how much liter per second of flow of water that you need from that pump, or Then another one is the head, how much height that you have to pump it. Okay, all those things. Uh, then efficiency of the pump. Okay, efficiency of the pump is important. Then the parallel or the series connection. When you are giving two or three pumps, you can give parallelly or series connection. Depending upon that, we can choose the pump. Then ease of operation and maintenance. So how easily you are operating it or and maintaining it. Depending upon that, you can just see it. Okay. Now, uh, so that's all about the pump selection. Let me see if let me see I have a catalog or not. Then I will show you how to select pump. Okay. Let me see. Second, please. If it's not there, means you can. So when you're going and when you're selecting, a pump, uh, you can directly get it from the catalog. Okay, if you have the flow rate and all those things, you can directly get it from the uh, you know a catalog. Okay, 1 second, please. Let me see whether I have or not. Okay, please for us. Or we have, you can go to the Google and you can download different, catalogs. Okay, catalogs. Okay, product catalogs. There will be different brands will be there, like uh, Kirloskar or V-Guard, or different things will be there. So you can choose any one of them. Okay. So here, let me see here is there or not. Let me search. If it is not there, I will show you. I will show you. I can go to the Google and I will show you how to how to download a browser. Okay. And from there you can select a pipe or a pump, capacity, or how much HP that you need. Mainly they might be giving in HP or kilowatt. Okay. So so what I was talking about was that when you are going for selecting a pump, the important criteria. There are different types of pump that we have already studied, and the next thing is that different criteria for pump selection. Different criteria for pump selection. So we have seen some of the points regarding the selection of pumps, and not only that, like if in some cases that if you need to select a pump from a particular catalog, you can just you can do like that. Okay, let me see. I'll show you the share screen. Let me go to the Google, and you can just type catalog, pump catalogs, like that, catalog. Okay, catalog PDF. Just if you like, many things will be here. Many many standard or different brands you may get. If you want to get a particular brand, you can just go and just you can type there. Okay. Uh, so if you want centrifugal pump, normally centrifugal pump is there. Or if you want a special type, a posted displacement pump, you can just type here posted displacement pump, and you'll be getting that. Okay. And or no, if you want a particular brand, okay, you can go there and you can you can select from there. Okay. For example, pump catalog for Kirloskar. Okay, and just Kirloskar. Okay. Then going there means, I may get three-phase monoblock pump. Okay, so just I am opening. So it is a KBS, three-phase monoblock pump. Okay, because they have given only two major, pages. Okay, can download it just for your betterment. I will just show here. Technical specifications are given here. It can range up to 76 meters height. It has been given. You can see the head range. See, this is the head. They have already given the technical specification. Head discharge. You can see here discharge. Okay, you can see here discharge. It is 49 liter per second. And this technical specification, in the sense, the general specification they have given already. Okay, and the power ratings in kilowatt as well as HP is given. They have given a range. There, Kirloskar pump ranges from 0.37 to 22 kilowatt, which means 0.5 HP to 30 HP. In that range they have. Okay, and the voltage and insulation and protection, everything is been shown here. So these are the, actually I said, now if you are going for buying a pump, they may ask what is the head, what is the head, as well as they may ask you what is the discharge. Depending upon that only, you will be getting which HP that you want. Okay. So last day we have found out the a problem, and we have seen and we have find out what is the capacity. We have found what is the capacity, what is the discharge, as well as we have found the head. Depending upon these three values, you can choose a proper capacity. Okay, and its material is given, material construction is given. These are normal specifications that they give in their catalog, and the application also they have given. Air conditioning and refrigeration system. Okay, for chilling plant also they can use this type of air pumps, cooling towers, clear water handling at high pressure in industries, irrigation in horticulture and agriculture, firefighting systems. So they have given their applications also for wherever what we use, they have given. Okay, I have just randomly just okay. So this is the specifications. Okay, its model number will be given. So it is here given performance chart. It is there. These are their models or series. Two-pole monoblock pumps at rated voltage 50 hertz frequency, three-phase AC power supply. Okay, so 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 you'll be getting like this. From there, you can choose it. From this catalog, you can choose the uh, capacity. Okay, in your, for example, in your house. Okay, you have built a house and you have given the pipe connections and all those things. Next, you are concerned about a pump. You don't know which pump to buy or which capacity of the pump that you need to buy. You don't know. Okay, so from what you have to do is that go to a site, go download a browser or a catalog. From there, then you choose what type or what brand you are trying to get it, and go there, and they will be giving these specifications. So what are the specifications that they are given is, first one is the pump model will be given, then its power rating in kilowatt as well as in HP is given. This is the pipe size. So this is the suction pipe as well as this is the delivery pipe size. So suction pipe, in the sense, this is a monoblock pump only. So we'll be having a a suction side as well as a delivery side is there. Okay, and these dimensions are normal only. It's been given by the manufacturer itself only. Okay, so suction side, the pipe diameter in mm is given is 50 mm, and delivery side it is 40. Some ways it can be 50 and 50. It can be 25 into 25. You can see here 40 into 40, 32 into 25. Okay, different pipe sizes are given by their manufacturer itself. So as the capacity increases, You can see the pipe size is also increasing. You can see 80, 80, 80, 65, 100, 100. It goes like that, okay? So depending upon the capacity, it goes like that. So these are the different types and or different series, okay, uh, which is been shown here. So like, this is the total head, how much meter height that you have to pump. If it is a 10-meter height, at least a 10-meter height, you can choose this, 0.5 HP. Okay, and it is, the height is, you can see here, the height is, given here, okay, 6, 8, 10, 12, it goes like that. And this is the discharge, liter per second. Okay, so if you want to choose this 0.5 HP, okay, or if your building is a 2-story building, somewhat 2-story or a single-story building, you can give this pump, and its head is 10 meter, and 1 liter per second is the discharge. So discharge is given in liter per second. So the specification of this pump is 10 meter head, 1 liter per second flow rate, suction and delivery pipe size 50 into 40 mm, and the capacity is 0.5. Okay, and the pump model, you can choose this. So if you are keeping this in mind, you can go to the shop and you can say that I want a pump model of ADS 0510. So they will be giving you this. Okay. So depending upon the head, you can see here. If you want, if your house is, or if your overhead tank is in a 12-meter height, okay, you cannot give this 0.5 because the maximum head it will be only 10, and the flow rate is 1 liter per second. That is the flow rate, 1 liter per second. Okay. So similarly, you can choose like this also. If whatever you want, you can choose it. Okay. So you can go height up to 40 meter height. Like you can see here, as this height is increasing, the flow rate is decreasing to 1.9, 1.7. Okay. When the height increases, the flow rate also decreases. So if you want more flow rate in a more height, you have to go for larger capacity. For example, this 36. 36, you have to pump the water from the well to a 36-meter height, or for example, a 30-meter height. Okay, so you can choose this pump GMC 1.540, and its capacity is 1.5 HP. So, but in a 30 meter, for example, in a 30 meter, the flow rate will be how much? 1.3 liter per second only. So, if you want less time, which means that if you want to store the water within less time than this, you have to go for the higher capacity. So, you can go even to this 3.2, which is 3.2 liter per second. But what happens? The capacity will be increasing. 1.52, you have to give it how much? 3 HP. Okay, instead of 1.5 HP, you have to go for 3 HP. Okay, so this is the way that you can select it. The total head will be given here, discharge will be given here, and pipe size will be given here. Okay, and so that's about the pump selection. Okay, so it is very easy, and you can go and select a suitable pump from the catalog according to your need. Okay, so you will be getting different catalog from the site depending upon your application and your need. Okay, so next we are going to see about the plumbing for high-rise building. This high-rise building, okay, what do you mean by this high-rise building? Which building can be called as a high-rise building? Okay, so when can we call a high-rise building is that when the height of the building exceeds 80 feet. Okay, if the height of the building exceeds 80 feet, you can call that as high-rise building. You can call such building as high-rise building. So when we are mainly dealing with this high-rise building, you know that the water will be flowing by the help of gravity only. From top, it will be coming with the help of gravity only. When the overhead tank is kept in the top floor of 80 feet high, what happens? You know, the pressure due to the gravity will increase. Correct. So it is coming from 80 feet high. So it is been recommended that till 80 feet it is, you know, the pressure is adequate. Above 80 feet you cannot use this, overhead tank. Overhead tank in the sense, you should use some alternate method to reduce the pressure. If it is increasing 80 psi, pounds per square inch, it will damage all your fixtures. Okay, because high pressure, it is because it's 80 feet height, right? So the water is flowing from 80 feet high to downwards. So we have to keep in mind that, you know, the pressure we have to reduce it. So we have different methods for reducing the pressure in high-rise building. Okay, so what do you mean by high-rise building? A building which is greater than till 80 feet, it is not high-rise building. If it is goes beyond 80 feet, or we can call it as it is go beyond, in normal case, beyond 8-story building. Okay, it goes 1 story almost 10 feet or 3 meters. If you calculate in a default way. Okay, if it is more than 80 feet or 8-story building, you have to give another, alternations for, reducing the pressure inside the downcomers or telescopic downcomers or riser pipes. Okay, so what are there are mainly 3 different methods. So I will explain what are the 3 different methods to reduce the uh, you know pressure. Okay, so we are dealing with plumbing for high-rise building. So we can write the heading plumbing for high-rise building, and I will just share my screen. I will just so so this is water distribution system up to 10 floors, up to 10 floors building. Okay, up to 10-floor building. So water distribution system. There are 2 types: indirect system as well as direct system. This is mainly we are dealing with the supply only. Okay, water supply only. So in water supply, there are 2 ways to give water. One is indirect method and one is direct method. So you just listen here carefully, then only you will understand. And I will explain what is this in the coming slides more detail. Okay, but for the time being, you just listen to me. First, I am dealing with this indirect pumping. Okay, so there will be an underground tank from by the help of a pump. It will be pumped to an overhead tank. From there, it will be taken and it will be supplied. The water from the overhead tank will be, taken or discharged, and it will be individually given to different floor. Okay, in the case of high-rise building, okay, we are dealing with high-rise building only, different floors, okay, different flats. So we can give like this. Another one thing is that, by the help of a pump, you have to uh, pump it into a tank initially. From tank, we have to, by the help of a pump, we can pump to the overhead tank. These are different options, okay, because there are different options. Okay, from that overhead tank, you can supply to the individual floor. Okay, from the well to a tank, from the tank to the overhead tank, from the overhead tank to the individual fixtures. Now another one is that from the well directly you can pump it into the overhead tank, and what you have to do, what they are doing is that one connection is given for first 2 or 3 floors, then another connection is given to the another 2 or 3 floors individually. Here it has been common. Here it has been, they have split it. For first 3 floor, one pipe connection, the another floor, another connection. The same way in direct system. What in the direct system is by the help of a pump, directly we are pumping. We are not supplying it to the overhead tank. And from the gravity it is not coming. Here we are pressurizing it by the help of booster pump. You can call it as a booster pump, or if there are different types of pump. Auto pneumatic pumps are there. Okay, different pumps are there. So here we can take an example of a booster pump. By the help of an underground, from the underground tank, directly it is by the help of a booster pump, it is directly pumping to the individual fixtures. It is not going to the overhead. This is one of the method. Okay, so these lines are common. Okay, and it is going individually to different floor, first floor, second floor, third floor, like that. So you'll be having a pressure tank. Okay. So the pressure inside this will be constant, and cut off will be there in this pressure tank. Okay. So this is the direct pumping system. Another one system is the system will be same, and while giving the pipe connection, it will be commonly it will be given individually. Here it is given there. From here again it is given. It is given. It is given commonly. It is not common. It is individually given to each floor. Okay, that are the different water distribution system up to 10 floor. Okay, now distribution system building above 20 floor. So this I will explain these are the three different methods I will explain in the coming slide briefly. And these are the indirect system, and this is the direct system. Okay, distribution system of buildings above 20 floor. Okay, above 20 floor. So here indirect system, there are two different types, like pressure reducer. Pressure reducer valve are there. I will explain what is that. So this is the underground tank. From the help of a pump, it is pumped to the overhead tank, and from the overhead tank, you can see it is above 20 floor, which means that this water, if you are trying to keep this water, all the fixtures will be broken because of the high pressure. Because the height is 20 floor, right? It is 20 floor. So 20 floor means it is automatically came under high-rise building. Okay, it came under high-rise building. So what we have to give a pressure reducer valve. Okay, individually we have to give pressure reducer valve. I will explain where to give and which height we have to give. I will explain it later. Now the other system is brake pressure reservoirs. So we are focusing on reducing the pressure because of the high-rise building. So this is the reservoir or the underground tank. By the help of a pump, you will be pumping to the top overhead tank. From that overhead tank, you can just individually give water to the floor in the top. Then this one connection will be given to a intermittent tank, which will be in 10th floor or 15th floor. From there, again, water will be going to individual fixtures. Then another water will be stored. So you will be there with three different tanks, so that the water from this will be given to this, and the water from this will be given to this floor, and water will be given this floor through this tank, so that the pressure can be reduced, because it is not directly flowing from this top. It's from here only. There's pipe connection is getting water from only from this overhead tank. This many floors, not the complete floor, so that we can reduce the pressure. Now another one system is this is a direct one, so it is not giving directly to the overhead tank. See, is giving like the sense like brake pressure system. This is also a brake pressure system, branch water supply. So from the tank, it is directly pumped into the three tanks. Okay, there is a connection here also. Okay, so directly given pumped into the three tanks. From there, it is given individually. Okay, that you can give the water from this pump. The water from this tank is pumped to this tank, as well as this tank. From help of another pump, we can just pump it to the overhead tank on the top floor. Okay. So that is one system. Another one system is direct supply booster pump. Because now you are not giving to any overhead tank except one. You can directly give to the fixtures. Okay. And at last, if you want to store the water, you can store it, and one connection is again given back to this line itself. Okay, so one connection is given to this line itself. This booster pump is directly. So always, the water will be available from the overhead tank, as well as if it is not working, the water from here will be supplied to this. Not only that, you can close it here. This is a valve. You can close it here, and you can use booster type. Okay, this is the indirect type, and this is the direct type. So by the help of this picture, it is very clear. Okay, there is no much explanation. So multiple pipe system is always preferable. Okay, so mainly due to this, more pipes coming. Normally, they want The contractors may have suggestions to use this, but client from the client side, it is not. Sorry, it is not necessary that you have to uh, give like this. So multiple pipe system is always preferable. Okay. So what it is said is that each flat has its own inlet flow pipe. Because of that, multiple pipe system is always preferred. Because individual flats, each people will be having their own their own water requirement. Not only that, last I have did a project. Initially, I have given a system called as loop system, but the problem in that loop system, what I have did was, I was not able to give in that particular, you know, mm, pipe routing. What happened is that I was not able to give the flow meter individually to the different floor, because I think it's a 10-story building or 8-story building. So for each story, different families are living, so that I have given the water supply common to each floor, so that if a particular floor or if a particular family needs to know what is their consumption of water, I was not able to give it. So that if you are doing like this, if you are keeping a flow meter, you may able to know that how much amount of water has been used by that particular family or that particular floor. Okay, here also. So individually you can know how much water are they consuming. Okay, if you are keeping a flow meter in any of this, pipe. So that is also helpful. Okay, so these are the things that we have studied. Now, if you want to write something, like you can write plumbing for high-rise building, and I will explain what is this. Just we have explained all these things. It is said that a building having height more than 80 feet is categorized in high-rise building. Okay, so the three different methods used in distribution of downtake distribution system are: one, pressure reducer valve system, intermediate tank system, and brake pressure tank system. So these are the three methods used in distribution of downtake distribution. Downtake means that riser pipe, the vertical pipe from the overhead pipe. Okay, so as this is high-rise building, what happens is that there is a high pressure. So if it is more than 80 feet height, it comes in category as high-rise building. So what happens is that we have to make allocations for reducing the pipe pressure or the water pressure inside the pipe. So the different methods to attain that is: pressure reducer valve system is there, intermediate tank system is there, brake pressure tank system is there. So these are the three different methods. So difference in the plumbing from the regular buildings having height less than 80 and high-rise building is that the water storage tank should have the water supply after feeding of the firefighting tanks only overflow through overflow only. What does this means is that in high-rise building this in high-rise building you have to keep this in mind. In high-rise building, this firefighting is very important. Firefighting, okay, or fire or fire system is very important. So as as fire system is important in the sense like we don't know when this fire occurs. Okay, accidentally fire can occur, and at that time you need sufficient amount of water in the overhead tank. So uh, in order to make sure that there is water, there is water at all time. At all time, we don't know when this fire occurs. Okay, so in order to make sure that in the overhead tank there is almost a full capacity water each time, of the day, whenever it might be. What we have to do is that how we have to design is that there will be two tanks in the top floor if it's a high-rise building, because one tank will be for the uh, you know firefighting tank. One tank is fire tank for storing the firefighting water. Okay, So how the water reaches there is like, we'll be directly pumping, and we'll be directly pumping the water to the or feeding the water to the firefighting tank only initially. So there should be two tanks on the overhead. One is the overhead domestic water tank for our need. Next one is the uh, firefighting tank. So in order to make sure when they come for inspection and all those things, in order to make sure that always the water will be available in the firefighting tank, what we have to do is that the water which should be pumped from the underground tank or from the well should directly reach to the firefighting tank only initially. From that firefighting tank, there will be an overflow pipe will be there. That overflow pipe only will be given to the domestic water tank. So we will make sure that always, the overflow of the firefighting tank only, the water inside the domestic tank will be getting from the overflow of the firefighting tank only. For which we can make sure that always the firefighting tank will be in a full water level position. Okay, because we need water supply each day, right? So in order to make sure that the water is present in the firefighting tank always, what we do is that not as per the design, we have to feed or we have to store the water inside the firefighting tank initially. Then the overflow from the firefighting tank only will be reaching to the domestic water tank. Okay, so that's what it meant. Now terrace loop. Terrace loop as per the design calculation is required to be provided same as a regular building. So terrace loop is nothing but there will be a terrace, there will be a terrace, and if you want to uh, give water to the individual toilets in the surrounding, flats, okay, you can have a loop system. Loop system means the water from the water tank will be taken, and you can just give a round pipe. You can give a pipe as a loop system, a round system throughout the around the terrace. And sometimes one toilet or will be in one corner, the other toilet will be in the other corner. There, you just imagine there are four, different toilets in the four corners of this terrace. So you can just give a round loop, okay, the water loop. From that loop, you can take individual, pipe supply from this corner, that, or all the four corners. Okay, that is called as loop system, terrace loop. Okay, if you are not using terrace loop, you can take a single pipe from the overhead tank, then you can distribute it to the all the areas. So there are two different systems. One is you can make a loop, you can make a circle. Okay, we can make a circle. From that circle, from any part, you can just take the pipe, downcomer pipe. Okay, that is called as loop system. Then downtakes. Separate telescopic downtakes for flushing and domestic shall be provided for the set of 4 floors are standard as a standard practice, up to 8 floors from the top. So downtakes means, it is also called as telescopic downtakers, which is also called as riser pipe. Okay, riser pipe. Riser pipe in the sense, it is a vertical pipe. Mainly it is called as vertical pipe, and it is been recommended that for flushing purpose you should have a separate tank, and for the domestic purpose or for drinking or washing or something like that, you should have a separate tank. So individual pipes will be given for flushing as well as for domestic. Flushing in the sense, it is for the water closet, because that is, that is not, we are directly in touch. That water is, we are not directly touched, so it is not necessary that it should be very pure water or a drinking water. It is not necessary. So you can use one tank for flushing purpose and another one tank for domestic use. Okay, and the water should be given for the first floor, 4 floors. First to 4 floor. You can do this as a set. If it is an 8-story building, you can give water supply for first to 4 floor, then another water supply for again for another 4 floor. So 1 floor, 1 set. Okay, as up to 8 floors from the top. From the top, 8 floors. Okay, if it is more than 8 floor, you have to give another tank, because 8 floor means 80 feet. If it is more than 80 feet, the pressure will increase, So you have to use another system. So that's why we said that we can give separate pipe connection to 4 floor, up to 8 floor, up to 8 floor. So 4 floor is a set. Then again a 4 floor is another set. Okay, so I will show you that. Okay, so this is the plumbing for high-rise building. 1 second. So do you want to write this? Just write a building having more than 80 feet is categorized as high-rise building, and just write only these 3 different methods. Just write that 3 different methods. That's enough. Once you write, just give me a thumbs up. Okay. Three different methods. I will explain what are the 3 different methods. Okay. Shahil finished writing. Just write these 3 methods. Okay, and write this also. More than 80 feet is categorized as high-rise building. Okay, anyways, we'll just move forward. 3 different methods. This will be coming. Pressure reducer valve system. Okay. So let's see what is pressure reducer valve system. For example, okay, 1 second. Okay, finish. Once you finish, let me know. Okay. Now we are going to see what is this pressure reducer valve system, intermittent tank system, and brake pressure system. We guys just seen in the first slide, but I am just going to explain it. Okay. So just imagine that this is a high-rise building, and you have what is how much what is the how much story building is this? It is 16-story building. So it is already came in high-rise building. Okay. So if it is more than 8 story or if it is more than 80 feet, you have to this as a high-rise building. This is the underground tank. So this is the underground tank. This is the overhead tank. Okay, this is the pump room. From the pump, now we are dealing with pressure reducing valve system only. So our aim is to reduce the pressure because this is a 16-story building. So when the water comes to this down, our fixtures will be damaged by the help of because of the high pressure. So we are trying to reduce it. So how we are trying to do this? From the underground suction tank, by the help of a pump, it is being pumped to the overhead tank. And now listen carefully. You can see that there are 4 different pipes is being taken. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 pipes are taken. Why we have taken 4 pipes is that we have always said that separate telescopic dive takers for flushing and domestic shall be provided for the set of 4 floors. Okay, so individual pipe will be given for the set of 4 floors. So 16 floors are there. So there will be 4 pipes because 4 into 4 is equal to 16. You get the idea, right? So for the first 4 set or the set of 4 floor, we will be giving 1 connection. Then again for the other set 4 floor, we will be giving another connection. And again another 4 floor, we will be giving another connection. Okay, that is the way that we decided. So you can see here, 1 pipe is being taken from the top and it is reaching in the ground floor. And you know that the water is being coming from the top of the 16th floor only. The water is coming from the 16th floor, and what happens is that if you are allowing the water to just flow from the 16th floor to this connection, all the fixtures in the ground floor, first floor, second floor, and the third floor, all these 4 floors will be damaged. So what we have to do is that we have to give a pressure reducing valve. Okay, we have to give a pressure reducing valve. So you can see here a pressure reducing valve here. Okay, you can see this is the PR valve or pressure reducing valve. So we have to keep a valve here, somewhere here at the top of the 4th floor. Okay, at least you can give till 8th floor. It should not go beyond 8th floor. Even though if you are keeping the pressure reducing valve above the 8th floor, still this much height is there, right? 8 feet or 80 feet height is there. So that again it can break the fixture. So we have to make sure that it should come in the range between 0 to 80 feet. Because you know that more than 80 feet it is going to high-rise building. So which means that minimum of 80 psi can be allowed. Maximum 80 pounds per square inch pressure can be allowed. Okay, maximum 80. So 80 in the sense 80 feet height. Okay, 80 feet height. If it is going more than 80 feet, what happens? The pressure will increase more than 80 psi. So it will damage it. So by putting the pressure reducing valve, it should come in the range below 80 feet. Okay, so better to give a pressure reducing valve at the 4th floor or something like that, so that we can just give a proper pressure to the first 3 or 4 floors. So this is known as pressure reducing valve. So just see the another connection. Second connection is taken and it is given to the another 4 floor. First, second, third, fourth. And again a pressure reducing valve is given there. You can see here. Okay, a pressure reducing valve is given here. Okay, so because it is how much story? It is 12-story building only when it comes here. Still you need a pressure reducing valve. Till 8-story building or till 80 feet you don't want pressure reducing valve because maximum it can have 80 psi. So what I'm saying is that if this building was an 8-story building, you don't want pressure reducing valve. Why? Because the pressure at the last point would be maximum 80 psi only because the height is 80 feet. If it goes beyond 80 feet, what happens? It will damage the fixture. So in that case, we have to give pressure reducing valve. In this case, this building goes beyond 80 feet. It is going as 160 feet only height. It was a 16-story building. For one story, you can take as a 10 feet height. So what happens is that when you are trying to give water to this bottom floor, it is coming in a high pressure. Okay, so it is very high pressure. So you can give a pressure reducing valve here. If you are trying to give a pressure reducing valve here, what happens? Again, this much height is there, right? From here to here, if you are giving this pressure reducing valve in the top of the 16th floor, what happens? From the 16th floor to ground floor, again the water will be coming down, right? So that is not allowed. So you have to give the pressure reducing valve in the range below 80 feet. So this is also second. You can give another pressure reducing valve in the 8th floor. For the another two correction, for the rest of the 8th floor, you don't want pressure reducing valve because you will be getting normal pressure. You will be getting normal pressure. So this is called as pressure reducer valve. So I will just explain this. Pressure reducer valve. These valves are fixed in the high-rise buildings having more than 80 feet height. It needs to be fixed below 80 feet from the top of the downtakes to regulate excess gravity pressure due to height. That's what I was explaining. It should be kept below the 80 feet. But keeping the pressure reducer valve above 80 feet, still 80 feet will be there. No, then again the pressure will increase, right? So you have to keep the pressure reducing valve in the range comes between 80 and 0. Okay. A pressure reducer valve is provided in downtaking pipe, downtake, keeping in mind that the gravity pressure in the downtake is kept under control. Okay, the maximum distance from the inlet point of the toilet and the pressure valve should not exceed 80 feet. So at the end portion or the end point of your fixture, it can be a tap or whatever it might be, to the pressure reducer valve, the distance should be maximum 80 feet. It can be less than 80 feet, it should be maximum 80 feet. Okay? It is goes beyond 80 feet, what happens if you put the pressure reducer valve, still 80 feet length is there, again the pressure will increase because of the height. Okay, that's why it's something like that. It should not exceed 80 feet. The pressure reducer valves are set in such a way that the maximum pressure at the lowest point should not exceed 80 psi. So we have to make sure that the pressure at the lowest point should not exceed 80 psi. Okay, as per the International Plumbing Code. So it is also advised to have a bypass to the PR valves to facilitate uninterrupted water supply while servicing, repairs or maintenance, as periodical maintenance is essential. So it is also advisable as well as necessary to have means of access to PR valves. So what it is said is that there is a pipe connection and we will be keeping a pressure reducer valve. And if something happens to a pressure reducing valve, some maintenance or servicing happens. So if you are doing some maintenance, what happens? The water supply to the stop. So in order for uninterrupted, supply of water, you have to give a bypass line so that the water will not be uninterrupted. Okay. So so that also you can use, and you have to give an access. You have to give an access to the pressure reducer valve. So in case if some maintenance happens, we have to access and we have to maintain it, right? We have to service it, right? So we need an access point also to reach there and to service it. So I think this pressure reducer valve is pretty clear for you, it seems. Okay, so it's very easy one. Now the second one is brake pressure tank. Okay, second one is brake pressure tank. Then third one we can see the intermittent tank. Okay, now brake pressure tank, the same thing. You can see instead of one out of the tank, you can see another one tank in the middle or on the 8th floor. So you know that the maximum height should be 80 feet. So instead of this pressure reducer valve, what we can do is that underground tank, from the help of a pump, we can pump it to the top of the tank. From there, one connection we can give to the tank on the 8th floor. from that 8th floor, we can give individual to this first 4th floor, then again one line to the another 4 set, or set of 4 floor. The same way you can take this pipe and you can give it to the 8th floor, 9th floor, 10th floor, 11th floor. Another you can take and you can give for the 12th, 13th, 14th, 15th, 16th floor. Okay, so this is called as brake pressure system. So that if it's a 16-story building, you don't want to use any pressure reducer valves. Not only that, the pressure will not be exceed more than 80 feet if you are keeping a brake pressure tank. Because if it is more than 80 feet only now, you have to be concerned about the pressure. So you have to keep another one tank on the 8th floor. From this tank, you can give it to the individual 4 floors. Okay, so I will read this. In this system, total water required for the downtake supply is pumped to the overhead tank installed on the terrace. Intermediate or brake pressure, you can call it as brake pressure tank, is provided on the floor above 8th floor with the floor valve. Okay, from these 2 tanks via main overhead tank. Okay, and brake pressure tank, the down take supply is given to the lower floors as per the standard theory as shown in the figure. So I think this is also very clear for you. Okay. Now, final one, intermittent tank. It is also similar to the brake pressure tank only, but there is a small difference. So you can see here, this is underground tank, this is a pump room. From this, there is a pump, it is been directly pumped to this 8th floor. From the 8th floor, again we are using a small pump and we are giving to the overhead tank, to the top floor. It was given to the tank by the help of gravity, it was reaching here. Now a small difference is that we are giving 2 pumps, 2 small pumps, one pump for the first 8th floor, another pump for the another 8th floor. So overhead tank for the set of 8th floor is provided on terrace, as well as for one set of upper 8th floor in case of 16-story building. Water is pumped to the tank provided on the first overhead tank on the 8th floor, and the stored water is pumped to the tank for the upper 8th floor. So from this tank will be supplied to the other 8th floor. The downtake supply is given from the intermediate tank to the same manner as a regular building as shown in the figure. So from here, the same system you are using. The help of gravity, you are giving to the first 4th floor, then again to another 4th floor. The same way in both the above systems, the intermediate, by including the intermediate tanks, the gravity pressure is reduced. These systems of braking pressures are used to save the expensive plumbing fixtures malfunctioning due to excessive pressure, and also saves the wastage of water. So why we are using this type of system? Otherwise, what happens? It will damage very expensive plumbing fixtures, as well as because of the high pressure, there is a chance of leakage. There's a chance of leakage, and lots of water can be lost, and the maintenance and all those things again it have again additional charge. So these are the 3 things which comes in high-rise building. One is the pressure reducing valve system, which is a very simple system. The simplest method is that you can use the pressure reducer valve. Unless you have to, that is the simplest method and the easiest way. Unless you have to build this tank, then pump is there. Okay. And not only that, the client won't allow, mainly the client won't allow to build a tank in the center, because that much area has been going, right? We have to give space for this tank itself. So most of the client won't allow to build a tank like this intermittent tank. So better we can go for pressure reducing valves. But the difference will be that if something happens, every time you have to repair it. So that better you can give a bypass valve, okay, when you are trying to do a high-rise building. It is more than 8-story building. Okay. So the pressure reducer valves are basically cheaper. You can know it, right? respect to all other systems. So today we have studied about this pump selection, and we have studied about this high-rise building, pump price for high-rise building. We have seen three different methods for reducing the pressure inside the pump. Okay. So is there any doubt regarding this other than this what you have asked? No means we can stop it and we can see tomorrow. What about Kranti? Do you have any doubt? Is there any further doubts? Okay. So see you tomorrow. Thank you so much. I will send you the video link. Okay. Thank you.